a wildfire, seeping through every corner, taking many, altering all.
Isolating loneliness, devouring boredom, and ravaging fear recommence at every encounter of dawn.
At the hands of the blazing flame, our customs shatter. Order, joy, community slither into times of dread.
Covered in ashes, shrouded in debris,
with its enchanting sound, the never-vanishing hope heals and brightens.
United we are, hand in hand, amplifying its power, shining it upon this ever-changed world.
The Make MusiCoviT project is our response to the need of feeling close to one another when we're all obliged to remain apart. It is our response to the need for keeping music alive, even in the hardest situations, like in our current times, when the music-making practices that have applied for centuries suddenly feel impossible to preserve. Above all, Make MusiCoviT is our response to the need for a program that can, in a completely safe way, join together education, artistic expression and innovation in pursuit of what should make an all-rounded 21st century musician. And what is a 21st century musician? A 21st century musician is a musician who doesn't only strive to conquer a particular musical field on a particular instrument, but one who is also aware of and able to utilize a whole array of aesthetic possibilities and the innumerable creative tools that technology has to offer today. The Make MusiCoviT project would have never been materialized without a great force behind it, and that is Jennifer Bing Dong, the director of the LOCUS Global Youth Foundation and a great promoter of educational programs. Programs that aim to help young people establish creative and academic excellence with a strong work ethic. The person who connected me with Jennifer was Maria Asteriadou, a world-class pianist and sought-after educator. Jennifer was seeking to create a new educational program online which would bring together a good number of students from all over the world through the power of music. I'm grateful for this connection because it inspired the design and development of what I believe to be one of the most challenging and compelling artistic projects ever conceived to date.
I would like to take this opportunity to say a few words about the Make MusiCoviT 2020 program. From my perspective, this was in every respect a unique experience, and it was fascinating and rewarding to see how it all came together and brought so many young musicians, separated geographically by thousands of miles, together through the collaborative process. When I recommended to Jennifer that she collaborate with George Lazaridis, a world-renowned pianist and gifted composer, on the design of this very special workshop, I was confident that a person with his exceptional qualities as a human being and musician would understand how to elicit the best results from these young musicians. George and his assistant and project manager, pianist and conductor Zafira Ramos, spent endless hours working with and mentoring the students throughout the compositional process, and then assembling the final piece in the virtual production studio.
Taking on the production management of such a large-scale online project was surprisingly extremely similar to the art of conducting an orchestra. Like with conducting, it required countless hours of dedicated thought and work, and continuous awareness of how each musician felt during each stage, so as to provide them with what they needed, while at the same time ensuring that the program kept progressing as a whole in the way we had designed it to progress. It was wonderful to see the way all the students met and collaborated exclusively online towards the creation of one same musical piece, but also how they learned to be patient, to be more disciplined and organized day by day, and to persist when something wouldn't immediately come out the way they intended. This, of course, wouldn't have been possible without the daily guidance the students got from George, who is not only ridiculously talented, but also the most inspiring, brilliant, and heartwarming person one could ever come across. Apart from George's daily instruction, throughout the duration of the program, participants also received high-quality performance lessons, as well as 2 masterclasses. One masterclass was on the subject of recording, with special tips on home recording practices, given by Hans Kipfer, highly experienced producer, who has worked for companies like Bis, Sony, Decca, or Deutsche Grammophon.
The sound bounces like light would bounce. So if you have a mirror instead of a wall, if you have a light source from a window that bounces onto the wall and to your back, is exactly how the sound would bounce.
The other one was given by Julien Benichou, principal conductor of the Washington Opera Society and music director of the Mid-Atlantic Symphony Orchestra.
Your beat should match the articulation, right? Let's say there are 2 articulations going on at the same time. One part of the orchestra is staccato, the other part is legato. So you would show staccato with your right hand, tum, tim, pum, pum, di da di dum ba da di da. So let's do an exercise like this. We're going to do a staccato 2 with our right hand, and we're going to show legato with our left hand. So staccato 2, secco, pim, pum.
After this successful first edition, we are already working on taking the Make MusiCoviT program even further in the coming season. It has been a real honor to work on the creation of a much-needed solution to many of today's issues, a solution that comes in the form of an outstanding program that joins together education, artistic expression, and innovation.
Make MusiCoviT is a groundbreaking project that joins together composition, music technology, performance, audio and video recording, live editing sessions, and the creation of a final documentary, with all stages accomplished exclusively online. A program that joins together education and innovation. Make MusiCoviT is a pilot program that we are already seeking to take further. In this first edition of it, the program was designed for a number of 20 young musicians of various social backgrounds coming from all over the world, from USA, China, Australia, Chile, Japan, Dominican Republic, France, Greece, and Italy. The students' age range spanned from 10 to 18 years old. Each young musician had a different level of musical knowledge and experience before joining the course, but they were all brought together online to co-create an original music composition in the form of theme and variations, written for different combinations of the instruments played by the students themselves. The students were guided through an intense schedule of daily lectures, group discussions, and one-on-one tuition, to conceive, to compose, to perform, and finally to record a large-scale, multi-instrumental musical composition lasting approximately 25 minutes. Now, that's a challenge. One of the unique aspects of the Make MusiCoviT program is that it does not try to look away from the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. We wanted to look the pandemic straight in the eye and immerse ourselves in the new reality casted upon humanity. We listened back to what we felt, to what others may have felt, and we helped each of the students create something unique out of, because of, this extraordinary global situation. In one of the sessions, each student spoke about how they had personally experienced the quarantine and their own predominant feelings during the months of isolation. This was really moving and emotional and a wonderful moment during the course, actually.
During the pandemic, I felt
we then came up with a list of quarantine feelings, and from this list, each student chose one or more feelings on which to base their own composition. This beautiful achievement is clearly implied in the very name of our project, if you notice it, which phonetically connects COVID-19 with the act of making music out of a difficult situation, any difficult situation. So Make MusiCoviT also means make music of it. The big majority of kids had no previous composition experience. When the composition stage began, some students found it more difficult to start writing on a blank page. They felt stuck at the beginning. Others found it more difficult to choose from the amount of ideas that came to their minds, to know what ideas not to use. Others had amazing melodic ideas but struggled to find the right harmonies to them. Others found it difficult to write for different instruments than their own. So it required a lot of flexibility from our side and a lot of craft to put ourselves inside the head of each of the students to be able to guide them the way each of them needed to be guided. It was great to see how they first started handwriting their compositions, but as I taught them how to use Sibelius, one of the leading score writing softwares, they all started to use the program to compose. By the end, they were all writing their music in a complicated music technology software which they had never used before.
And now it's great. I have something in my mind and I just write it down and then maybe put more instruments with it.
One of the assignments the students had to undertake was to come up with different ways to describe a variety of common feelings through the universal language of music. Feelings like sad, happy, or nervous, hurt, or hopeless. How could they be expressed in musical terms? Another important aspect of this program is that it taught the students about that intrinsic connection between the composition process and the performance process, a connection that has so often been overlooked in mainstream educational programs. For this matter, we had two world-class musicians coaching the students with individual instrumental lessons. One of them was the internationally acclaimed violinist Nikkanen, a great musical personality and concertmaster of the New York City Ballet Orchestra. The other was our co-producer and brilliant international pianist Maria Asteriadou, who is also part of the piano faculty at Manhattan School of Music and professor of piano at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania. So Maria and Kurt, two great musicians, took on the demanding task of making the students aware of that intrinsic connection between composer and performer.
My coaching sessions, therefore, focus not only on instrumental matters, but also how to adapt what the young composers heard in their heads most effectively from a performer's standpoint. One also had to be mindful of how the various layers would be assembled and work with the players on imagining the context and how the different instruments would sound together.
It was a pleasure and a privilege to participate in the Make MusiCoviT program as a coach and string teacher. The concept, as proposed by Jennifer Pindong and developed and implemented by George Lazaridis, was unique and compelling in its focus on the integration of performance and composition skills, and was truly inspiring in its scope and ability to bring together young musicians of different nationalities, ages, and backgrounds. This, of course, presented some unique technological challenges as well, and it simply would not have been possible without George's vast experience and knowledge, not only as a great composer and pianist, but also as virtual producer. All the students had been asked to write a variation on a theme, a Spanish folk melody, given by George at the start of the program. Each variation would express something of the students' personal feelings and experience during the pandemic. The students were really stretched to the limit as creators and also interpreters of both their own and the other students' variations. In my work with them, the challenge was, in addition to ensuring an accurate performance that could blend well with the other parts, to encourage each participant to go beyond the notes and evoke through expressive means the feeling and character of each piece. In this, I feel, in the end, the students succeeded admirably, largely due to George's mentorship and encouragement. My congratulations and deep appreciation to everyone who participated in this project, which I feel is the perfect expression of triumph over the adversity that we now all face, as artists and as human beings.
Furthermore, another groundbreaking aspect of the MusiCoviT project is the concept of recording each musician live online. Big thumbs up for me. Don't you think, Safira? Bravo.
Yeah, I would take this as a basis.
Great take. We sought original ways to simulate the stages of a professional recording session in a long-distance environment. This is probably a pioneering idea, especially when it concerns youth and education, which most likely will gradually become established as a new norm in the world of contemporary music collaboration and production. Try your best every time you're playing, and maybe we're going to get a real diamond out of somewhere we didn't expect to get something great. That's the magic of doing multiple takes, because hardly ever we get the best take being take one. The recording sessions were followed by live audio editing sessions online. Now that was a great challenge, but it was also extremely fascinating and fun to watch how much the students loved it. So the fact that we are here right now and we're actually doing a live session of how we're putting all the materials together, materials that we created with never meeting each other, is pretty amazing on its own. So yes, it is complicated, yes it is time consuming, yes it can drive you mad at times, but in the end it's worth doing because we are all creating something together in a way that redefines what togetherness really means. These sessions were open for all students wishing to witness some of the processes of professional music production. The students learned how to choose the best takes out of hundreds of takes. They witnessed the way in which we would have to clean each recording from each private home's background noises, like, for example, washing machines, footsteps, or even dogs barking. And finally, they witnessed how important and difficult it would be to combine the playing styles and the tunings of 20 different musicians who never met each other during the process in order to form actual ensembles in the final videos. I stayed up all night, but I synchronized it, I tuned everybody, and I used an amazing space for them that matches the space we're using for them. In the MusiCoviT project, virtual reality becomes a symbol for hope. Obviously, the videos we have created do not pretend to be technically impeccable. The video shooting possibilities at each student's home were obviously as diverse as they were limited. Nevertheless, we managed to create a highly symbolic effect by daring to bring together whole body videos of individual players with fully synchronized movement, forming fully exposed virtual ensembles. Our amazing video artist, Alexander Seitaridis, meticulously removed the backgrounds from all videos and placed each player in their ensemble, and then each ensemble into a unique environment.
Θέλω, ναι, μόλις κάνω αυτή τη ρύθμιση εμφανίζεται όλο το λευκό, δύσκολη ισορροπία, οπότε μάλλον θα καλυφθεί αυτό με κάποιο φίλτρο.
The environments we chose are actual high art pictures of empty cities, landscapes or monuments from all the countries our students come from. That way, those empty cities and landscapes have now become virtual stages, filled with new music inspired by the pandemic.
So I learned so much from the Make MusiCoviT program. For example, I learned that teammate really helps so much. Like, I had a few of my friends and George and obviously Sophia to help me edit it, and I think I came up with a really good piece.
I would like to thank the LOCUS Global Foundation for giving me the wonderful opportunity to participate in the Make MusiCoviT workshop.
First of all, I want to express my gratitude to the LOCUS Global Foundation for being the springboard that drives me to participate in the Make MusiCoviT workshop. It was an exceptional experience for me to be able to enter the world of composition and learn how to use the technology.
I think that the variation that I wrote was really relevant to the pandemic itself because they're both really sad but also somewhat beautiful in their own way.
My most important takeaway from Make MusiCoviT is learning how to portray layers of emotion through music composition.
Participating in the MusiCoviT workshop was a truly unique experience. I learned many things about performance, composition, and many other things, and that would not be possible without LOCUS Global Foundation.
Youth from every corner of the world came out to confront the emptiness that COVID-19 enforced upon humanity, filling this emptiness with hope by making music of it.
Many would see this as arduous work. For George, it was clearly a labor of love, born of his deep commitment to the idea that music can actually change lives and make the world a better place. I learned a good deal through this process and believe the students did as well about so many aspects of this creative endeavor. How a crisis, although negative on one level, can produce collaborative and innovative work and transcend the barriers of distance. How we can use 21st century technology to express ourselves in an ancient and timeless medium. And finally, how we can achieve our greatest unity at a time when forces outside our control threaten to pull us apart, and heal ourselves and others through the power of music.
Music unites us.
Music makes the world a better place. 音乐团结了我们。
La música nos une.
Distance brought us closer.
La distancia nos acercó.
Music is hope.
音乐让我们团结。
La musique nous unit. Music
深邃远。
Music is hope.
Music is hope. La música ci unisce. Music unites us.
Distance nous a rapprochés.
Distance brought us closer. Music makes the world a better place.
音乐是希望。音楽は希望です。
音乐给世界带来美好。
Music unites us. Music makes the world a better place.
So, in times of challenge, what shall we do?
Let's make music of it.
Let's make music of it.
Let's get music of it.